Welcome, everyone, to this first interactive round of discussions on certifications. A very broad topic. We have the experts here to also bring it always back to textiles, but we can also broaden it a bit. I stress the fact that it is interactive, and that's why we're all going to move around a little bit. And I also encourage you, because it's after lunch, it's the weekend, so you've all had a work week. So if you feel like standing or walking around, then feel free to do so, because we are in the auditorium maximum, which is usually very frontal, but frontal and interactive don't work together. So let's make this interactive. We're not here to give you long presentations. This is to have a discussion. And for that, we always need to move around. One other thing that I know from various presentations in the circular thinking, whether it's cradle to cradle or the circular economy, the interesting thing is people are always seated linear. And the interesting thing is that that totally influences your thinking and the way you interact. So ideally, I would have changed the setup to at least a half circle. That is a bit difficult in the auditorium maximum. So in your imagination, bear with me and just think into the process of what we're actually trying to do. Certification can be a bit stiff because it's a regulated process in some ways. And it warrants the question for later discussion, is that the only driver for implementing a circular economy and cradle to cradle? But that's just also a little bit to pique your thinking. I'm very happy to have an international and very well-versed panel here today. I'll start with Dr. Susan Klosterhaus, who has been with the Cradle-to-Cradle Product Innovation Institute for a long time. She is Vice President of Science and will introduce herself in a bit more detail when she gives her brief presentation. Next is Dr. Rossitza Krueger. She is a textiles expert with Fairtrade. And last but not least, Haixaing Qian, who is a senior expert at EPEA, the organization that is also called the Cradle of Cradle to Cradle Michael Braungardt's Institute in Hamburg, as most of you probably know. So I have discussed with the panelists that each of them is going to give a brief introduction. Not death by PowerPoint, hopefully, but just so we all have a common understanding, because I don't know where you are all coming from and what your background is. So we thought each of them has about 5 or 6 slides. So we'll run through those. And we'll actually do it in this, we'll start with Rossitza and then Susan and then Haixaing. We also have a couple of questions that we will discuss, but I'm happy to include you as early as possible. I think we're a small enough crowd to really have your questions. So it's not that we have a program that we need to walk through. We're totally flexible, so I think we start with the slides, and if the feedback sort of is, I have an urgent question after Rossitza starts, we can see how that goes, but maybe we should run through the 3 presentations and then go into discussion. Rossitza, please start with your presentation. Thank
How's
you.
the ticker? I think the green one?
Yeah, just the green one, exactly.
Okay, hello. I'm very happy to be here and to present to you very briefly a big program and a big work of Fairtrade. about the big supply chains in textiles. I hope you are familiar with how many stages there are and how many people are working in textiles, around 75 million workers. And then we have just some concepts where Fairtrade International is part of the bigger movement. I'm from the head office from Bonn. We are the holders of the standard, but we are just one part of the Fairtrade, let's say, system or way of life, where we try to get better deals for farmers, where we try to get real fairer trading conditions, and we signed to the principles of the World Fair Trade Organization. I hope you can hear well. So what is unique for our fair trade labeling organizations and for our standards? We are already the last 25 to 30 years there. We started in coffee, but what is unique compared to some of the other concepts is that we have, and this is pretty new, the last 3 to 4 years, a real participations of the farmers organization. They have 50% voting rights. So we have producers, representatives in our system. Producers for fair trade are in the south, they are in Africa, in Latin America, or in Asia and Pacific. So those people have a voice in our system. They decide upon our standards what they really need. And they also help us to, let's say, to deliver better for them. We have this permanent support. You can see the countries where we are active. In green is the producing countries. In blue is our marketing area. But we have also a premium for social development and minimum prices. So this is how we actually reach out to the farmers. They are organized in producer organizations. And we talk in our priorities at the moment, in our strategic direction about living wages and living income. This is the goal of fair trade, to improve situation, let's say, for the next 5 to 10 years. You see a range of products. We are very big in food, but not so big in textiles. So coffee, for example, is our main product. We started with coffee. 40% of our income is from coffee. We are kind of labeling system where we get license fee on the label, but we also support producers. So textiles is only one smaller share. We have cocoa and bananas as main products. What is important is that the supply chain in textiles is the most, let's say, the bigger one and the most difficult one. Sometimes it is on different continents. We have to deal with different countries, but fair trade is also happy for any challenge. I'm here also representing the work of fair trade in the supply chains, because we started with cotton. At the moment, the products you can buy are with certified cotton, and for the rest of the supply chain, we are using so-called social indicators. So we ask, for example, GOTS certificate or SA1000 certificate or others. If trade unions confirm that the factory is under collective bargaining agreement, so this is also kind of indicator that the situation there is around at the level of ILO core conventions. But what is important for us is that we want to go further. And this is also new for fair trade. We have a fair trade textile standard, which we consulted heavily with the, let's say, stakeholders. And we have stakeholders in all continents, but also from the civil society, trade unions directly, and the businesses, brands in the north and producers in the south. And then our primary goal is to improve the situation of the workers. So this textile standard, what I will be talking, or I will be happy to get more questions, is about the textile standard, about the textile supply chain. About the cotton, this is also part of the supply chain. I think we are more comprehensive there. I can also say some words, but I can also give you some context, or just go on our website. Because the cotton production is agriculture production, and the coverage with Cradle-to-Cradle is also a lot in the supply chain. So I'm interested to have some more interaction there. And this is my last slide, just to say that one of the main, let's say, purposes of fair trade is that we don't just put standards there, but we also help the producers, or in this case, the factories, that they fulfill standards. It is not that we just push a standard or the certification by itself. We have our local trainers, experts, people who just go to every farm or to every factory. They meet with the people, they do workers' trainings, but also they listen to the workers. And what is important, you see the main areas, those are in health and safety we work in empowerment of the workers. In most of the emerging countries, economies, the situation of the workers is not well protected, even if there are laws, but also the trade union representation is very low there. So this is a big challenge for us. And we work on living wages, which is still a bit different from many of the social standards where we go beyond the minimum wage for the country and we say what is really the decent living for workers. And then we have efficiency program, which is a bit external. It's not part of our standard, but we support the businesses there, that they save cost, less effects. I'm very happy to give you details. Perhaps you can have now questions, but this is a huge area of work. This is what the textile industry is doing really the last 20 to 50 years. So you can contact me also. I'm on the website, and we can have a bigger discussion to the different topics. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rossitza. I think we move on, as we agreed, to give Susan the word to introduce the Cradle-to-Cradle Product Innovation Institute and the certified standard.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Susan Klosterhaus. My title at the Institute is Vice President of Science and Certification. For those not familiar with the Institute, it was founded by Dr. Michael Braungart and William McDonough in order to administer the Cradle-to-Cradle Certified Products Program. And so we are an independent nonprofit organization with 2 headquarter offices, one in San Francisco and the other in Amsterdam. And then I personally work out of the Washington, D.C. area. But my role at the Institute is to oversee the certification program and its operations, and then also oversee development of the Cradle-to-Cradle Certified Product Standard. And so, of course, C2C needs no introduction to this crowd regarding the vision and the design philosophy, but not everyone knows that it is also a quality certification program. And the certification program was started by Michael Braungart and William McDonough's firm, MBDC, which is based in the US in 2005. And the Institute took over administration of the program beginning in 2012. And so the program has grown in the 13 years that it's existed. We now have approximately 600 certifications, and each of these certifications represents 1 or more products. So we have in total several thousand products that are actually certified to date. And so the intention of the program is of course to design products so that they can be reused in circular systems and are made with safe chemicals, but also the intent is to design the products so that they are positive and do more good instead of just less bad. And so a bit about the standard itself. There are 5 categories of requirements that a product must meet in order to get the certification, and these 5 categories are based on the C2C design principles. So the first 2, material health and material reuse, are focused on the actual design of the materials in the product. So the goal of the material health category is to design materials that only contain safe chemicals. The goal of the material reuse category is to design the materials so they can be reused in circular systems. And then the other 3 categories are focused on how the product is made. So the first being renewable energy, where the goal is to make the product with 100% clean energy and not emit greenhouse gases. Water stewardship, with the goal there being treating water as a precious resource, being aware of the company's water use when they're making the product, as well as focusing on not emitting harmful chemicals into waterways as a result of that production process. And then the last category, social fairness, is focused on best practices that respect people and natural systems. Okay, so in addition to being a multi-attribute certification, the primary distinguishing feature of the Cradle-to-Cradle standard is that it's focused on continuous improvement. And so it's not just a one-time deal, pass-fail, and you're done. A company must demonstrate what we call optimization progress every 2 years in order to maintain their certification. So each certification is good for 2 years, and they somehow must make a good faith effort towards improving their product and working their way to the platinum level certification. And so there are 5 levels: basic, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. The basic level is primarily about certifying intention. So it's a provisional level that's only good for 2 years, and therefore, because it's only a provisional level, the certification mark may not be used on the products. And then as you go from bronze, silver, gold, and then up to platinum, the requirements become more rigorous until you get to the platinum level, which is intended to be the ideal cradle-to-cradle product. And just a few short words about how the certification program works. So the Institute serves as both what's called the scheme owner and the certification body. The primary roles of the scheme owner are to oversee development of the standard. We train and audit assessment bodies. We ensure consistency in how those assessment bodies conduct their operations, maintain the certified product registry, license use of the trademarks, and then do marketing and communications. And then, if a company is interested in getting certified, they must work directly with one of our 15 assessment bodies, such as EPEA. And so the company will work directly with them, and the assessment body will help them collect the information necessary for the assessment, all the product details. They'll conduct the assessment and then send a summary to us at the Institute as the certification body, where we'll audit that work and then issue the certification. And just a few short words about an initiative at the Institute called Fashion Positive. The goal of Fashion Positive is to certify the primary building blocks of the fashion and apparel sector. And so this means certifying things like yarns, dyes, fabrics, et cetera, in order to have the building blocks already developed that can be used towards cradle-to-cradle certified products. There are 2 main goals of the initiative. One is to guide and educate companies into the certification process. And then secondly, there was a working group called Plus that has been developed, which many of you, or some of you might be familiar with. It has brands including, let's see, H&M, Marks & Spencer, G-Star, Stella, did I say Stella McCartney? There's quite a few, I have a list here, that are engaged in identifying priority materials for certification. And the goal is to have them, to choose the materials where there will have a high impact and that are pre-competitive. And so that is not my expertise, but I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have about Fashion Positive and certification in general. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Susan. And then Haixaing, I think you're going to add a couple of practical examples and EPEA's role. Great.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So here. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Haixaing from Shanghai. I've been working at EPEA for more than 10 years. And today is a great honor to present part of EPEA's work here in this wonderful room. And I'm not alone here. I have some more senior colleagues here, like Peruse, Frau Peruse. She is the expert for textile. Hello. Yeah, and we have Alain from France. Alain, monsieur. Hello. So, and also I have Dutch colleagues from Eindhoven. They are here as well. And Zana is also expert for cotton, organic cotton and textiles. So, at first, you know, we are working with Michael Brongard. The EPEA was founded in 1987. We are based in Hamburg, but in the last 30 years, we built up a big network and some subsidies like EPEA Netherlands, EPEA Taiwan. We are partner with EPEA Switzerland, in Brazil, in France, and in Turkey. We all have representatives and partners. They, they can provide much better service for the local companies and local people. Taiwan, for example, they covered all Asia, the Asia countries, for example. Okay, first I give you some examples. These are part of our customers. I think Mr. Styler of Laufmüller is sitting somewhere as well. Hello. Here, we are working with textile dye stuff companies and auxiliaries companies like Dystar, CHT, Dr. Petrie, and Trigema. They are European-based company. And also the yarn manufacturer. Also some examples in the flooring sectors like Dessau, Tarkett. Dessau is a Dutch company. They are producing the polyester carpet. And Tarkett is a French company, so they have different hard floor and soft floor products. Each is based in Denmark. As well, we are working with companies in the building sectors. These are only a few examples. Like also, they are very German. You see it from the name Schüco, Lindner, Strehle, Waldmann. They're very good partners with us, and through another incorporation, you see incorporation with Dres and Sommer. This is a German project management in the building sector. As well, the cleaning agents, you see, maybe you see already outside some products from Frosch, as well the Method and Tana professionals. They are more in the B2B sectors. So Ecover is a Belgian company. For furniture, we have been working many years with the furniture companies like Geoflex, Alping, based in the Netherlands, for mattress, and Hammer Miller, Steelcase as well. So it's it's a big network. Okay, the last few slides, I'm just maybe continue with what Susan already presented. EPEA, we are the general assessor. They are the certifier, and we are the assessor. We are general assessor means we can do both material health assessment and the whole certification process. It's like you see the EPEA is doing the material assessment and the process evaluation. When we finish and we send the report to Susan, to C2CPII for the audit, and then the company get a certificate in the end. Okay, that's it. So please feel free to ask questions.
Nein, das machst du aber nicht an. Die machen das an. Thank you. Haixaing. So, we have another short introduction to you because the focus is on textiles. So I thought it would be good if each of them also gave you just an example of what they have done in the textiles area. But as you could see from Haixaing's presentation, certification, at least from the Cradle-to-Cradle side, goes beyond textiles, and also Rossitza showed that clearly their focus also lies on other products, mainly in the food area. So I think we said, Susan, we'd start with you, and you basically pick one of the textile projects, the most recent one that you want to talk about, just a little bit.
Is this one also on?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fashion and textiles are not my specialty or focus, so I'm reading from a cheat sheet. One of the most popular recent certifications is the CNA t-shirt and jeans. This was a collaboration between CNA and Fashion for Good. I'm told the process took about 1 year to develop the certification. CNA is the first retailer to offer a full jeans product. G-Star also had the denim fabric certified first, but I suppose it was a competition to get to the first full jeans product. And they are now certified at the gold level. Also, there are some certified at the bronze level. Some of the elements, such as the lining material or sewing thread, had to be completely redeveloped. And then along with that launch, CNA developed a how-to guide for developing C2C certified jeans with the goal of sharing that information with others so that others may get certified. The t-shirts are designed for the biological cycle, and I'm told, I think it's household composting that can be used for those, as well as be taken back to CNA stores as part of a take-back program. And then the jeans are designed for a technical cycle that can also be taken back to the CNA stores. And for further questions on that, I think there might be a CNA person here as well.
Yeah, there might. I don't know. Suan? Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect. So we can pick up on that. Haixaing, you brought us some stuff. Yes. Tell us what you brought.
Okay.
Because Nora was actually quite explicit this morning that even though CNA has done great work, there has been work in the past on textiles and a full certification.
Oh, yes.
Well, that is...
So the big one is not for my size. You see? It's all right. Yeah, this is the CNA t-shirt you can buy in a store, in every store. This one, and there are many colors, like, like 7 to 10 different colors.
Has everyone actually had a chance to touch and feel? You can pass it around and touch and feel.
And very cute one, I love it. This is for the baby, you see?
I hold it, you hold the mic.
Yeah, okay. And also from CNA.
Put that here. Well, my colleagues know it, of course.
This one is from Trigema. It's very high quality. You see, this is the cotton is a little bit different. Sure, this is in the middle price range. It's not like CNA product. The Trigema is basically they produce for other companies, in a business-to-business sector, very much well.
And when was this certified from Trigema, Haixaing?
We continuously certify their products.
Yeah,
so.
But they started working on it.
Oh, I think
2007.
2007.
Around that. So it's been 11 years as a Cradle-to-Cradle certified product. Okay,
Thank you,
I won't pass it in the first row, but we can pass it up here. Okay, perfect. Did you have anything else, Haixaing? That was it, eh?
Yeah. That was
no, well, it's just a few samples.
Yeah.
Rossitza, you have a presentation too.
I have a presentation too, but I cannot share with you because I'm wearing the stuff. So it is just I came directly from another trip and I had very little space in my suitcases. So I organized something on, really they brought me the shoes here, but I'm very happy to show to you. This is Mellowwear and they have GOTS and Fairtrade certified cotton. And if you have questions about the rubber in the next session, Henning is here. You can ask him for details. They're comfortable. We're very proud because they're the only one at the moment. And I have, my top is from Giuseppium. This is UK brand, very fair trade committed. They're also members of the World Fair Trade organizations. I'm not completely fair trade. I didn't manage because it's also the variety is not there. But let's say, what we have at the moment is that we offer not only basic articles, but a bit also more fashion to get to the consumers on a reasonable price. That was a long sleeve shirt and not a t-shirt, the first one. But we also go in that direction. I'm very happy that you go, because you can sell it also for summer and winter. And we try also to get into these summer and winter collections. With cotton, you don't have the variety a lot. What is more important is, for us, it's the quality of our cotton. We know till the producers, the whole supply chain, and we also publish it on the website of Fairtrade Germany. You can give a code for the products, and then you can see supply chain till the farmer, from which farm they're and where, in which factories they're produced. That's what Fairtrade is doing now.
Thank you. Great. Rossitza. No, hold on to the mics and come up here, because we don't need to hide behind the desks. Like I said, this was interactive, so we're coming closer to you. I promised you this was the first opportunity to actually get involved in the discussion rather than us having a discussion up front here. So who has the first question? No, well, we actually don't give away our mics, but we'll do it in this case. Go ahead. Say your name.
Yeah, sorry. My name is Christina, and I work in a textile industry. I'm developing labeling and packaging for fashion products, for garments. And I would like to know how much does a certification cost? Because that's the first, I came up with this idea in my company. And that was one of the first questions I was confronted with. And I have no imagination how much it is.
I think it's a really good question, and probably
maybe very
something
complex.
Others would have asked, because we had it on our list as well. But it's much nicer to come from you. Mm-hmm. So who would like to field that question? Haixaing, would you like to answer it? Well, you can give it a shot, and then Susan, and then maybe Rossitza.
Yeah, maybe Susan, you first.
So the Institute charges a certification fee. It is 1,300 euro for the application, and then 800 euro per year. But that covers the certification part of it. But most of the cost is in the initial assessment. So, and yes. I can't speak to that because I don't know what it is. Each of our assessment bodies charges their own fees separate from the Institute fees.
Yeah. I was thinking the question will come up, but I didn't, count that comes so early. The cost, because this is very important question, also sensitive question. The cost, I would say, depends on your product. How many accessoires you have in the final product. If just a very simple T-shirt, like I'm wearing, then I would say it contains maybe, without dye and without auxiliaries, maybe you just 10 to 15 chemicals, and we do charge per chemical for a certain amount of euros. That's like between 400 or 500 euros, and then it comes a project management fee on it. It's a fixed fee. We charge like 2 days work for the report, and as well, if you want to apply a full certification, I mean, the full certification means like CNA. You can print the logo of your final product. That means we have to do a site visit. We have to. So, question again: how many sites? How many production sites do you have? Like each, we have to visit a standard, maybe in Bangladesh or in China, I'm not sure. We have to look at some chemical intensive factories, like printing or dyeing, I guess you are not only having this color, right? You have different colors. We have look on it. And this also, like we charge for each day, like each factory 1 day work. We have our fee. So actually, if you don't know exactly what your supplier put in the products, then we might have to send your products to the lab for some test, like for heavy metal or organohalogen test or whatever. So that's cost have to be added on. So I hope I give you a
complex.
Rough, yeah, a rough
so
overview.
is there any website where you can actually find that information?
Yeah, we didn't put the price on the website.
No, just the procedure, maybe.
So yeah, procedure, yes, definitely, yeah. And we do, you know, we do the consultancy work just with customer directly. We want to, you know, give you the best service and to let you really understand the complexity of our certification program. So usually, yeah, if you're interested, we can have, you know, contact via phone. We can have phone call or meet each other to discuss more details.
Was this also a question relating to fair trade? I think or did you specifically ask about cradle-to-cradle certification?
It was actually relied on her company, but I would like to know if when it comes to the social component, if they like work together with Fairtrade. Is it like is there a connection between you?
I think Rossitza should answer that.
I would say the connection you see now. We talk to each other, but there is a procedure where how Fairtrade goes for partnerships, and this is, in your case, also a procedure how you go with other standards. This is something what every standard is doing. And I see the point, because we have also focused more on social and not so deep in environmental, so we are really very happy if we have already certificates working in the factories. And our fees are on our website.
That is actually something I would like to explore a little bit more. If you all nod, I will make a suggestion, because fair trade is clearly focused on social standards. I think that was very clear from what Rossitza showed. So workers' health, and I think what Susan and Haixaing clearly said is that for Cradle-to-Cradle, and you know that also from your background in Cradle-to-Cradle, there's a lot of attention paid to material health. So I thought it would be interesting to explore that a bit more, because we had this discussion on the panel earlier today that you're actually wearing it, and the skin is our largest organ. So, and also as it relates to workers' health, of course, it's really important what's in the material. So, do you want to speak to materials health a little bit more? Susan, maybe. And then you can maybe ask a question on top. But I think that's one of the key things to explore a little bit more, because that's also where the two standards sort of complement each other, because the weight is definitely different.
Sure. As a material health assessor, I don't want to take it away from Haixaing, but I'm happy to do it. Okay. So yes, I'd say the main difference, based on my understanding, is that there's a large focus on material health and material reuse compared to fair trade and the components of those materials. So in material health, the assessors will work with the company that's applying for certification and their suppliers to identify the chemical substances that are in each of the materials in the product down to a very low level. And then they'll assess the hazard of each of those chemicals and then determine what the risk is and come up with a rating that will ultimately determine what level of achievement in material health you've reached, depending on whether or not there are any, for example, carcinogens, mutagens, or reproductive toxins or other hazardous chemicals in the materials.
Okay. Okay. I just want to add something. I guess your question was, are the two certificates, two logos, are compatible, right?
No. In your presentation, you said that working conditions and and social aspects are also a part of the certification. and there are audits.
Yeah, social fairness, social issues.
Fairness,
yes.
yes. And because Fairtrade is dealing with this as well, I just had the question if they would like work together when it comes to audits. If it was like a subcontractor or I don't know. Do you see the question?
Okay, just one sentence, maybe can Dagmar, because in the practice, we didn't face this kind of problems. If you already have the Fairtrade certificate, it would be very great because we can really that will simplify our work in the pillar of social fairness. But again, our biggest part of our work is the material health and the reutilization. As well, in the audit, we look at the water management in the factories. We look at the renewable energy use in the factories. They are also very important for our certificate. But sure, I think if your facilities already have fair trade, that will be great. Yeah.
Dagmar. I think you can add a little bit to it,
maybe,
to complement it, yeah?
Hello? Yeah, maybe if you like, because I just yesterday I worked on that, but however, in the standard version 3.1, we have in the social fairness a specific thing where the fair trade certification, or is the product
closer
the product you used, is it certified according to a specific standard, and fair trade is one of them. So we all originally worked together in our certification and respect the fair trade work already. This is known, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. But Rossitza,
just a few words here. We are not completely excluding environment, and we want also to improve in that part, and we see you as, let's say, front runners. We have requirements to protect the workers, especially when they work in these dyeing productions, in printing, where they get exposure to chemicals, also in some other productions where there is, let's say, also some spot removing in the CMTA, but this is really oriented to the workers. What we do for the planet is just recommendation. Our standard is also based on improvement, but then we ask them not to fulfill a special standard because it is a very basic stage where we have to start. And if Cradle-to-Cradle is there, this will be for us a real easy game then. That's very easy, but normally when we accept a standard and put a reference, we have to do a proper, we have recognition procedure, we are members of all these organizations where there are sections, and I'm very happy if you also consider us. You have just to be a bit careful. There are two fair trades in the US, they have a bit different standards, so we have to see exactly where we match. More important is for you to know that, I just want to put a note here, not everything also is toxic what you wear on your skin at the moment. So please don't exclude the whole textiles and stop by even our cotton on it. There are, of course, a lot of chemicals there, but still there are also good examples with, let's say, natural chemicals or whatever they use. We have some good examples too. But you are the platinum standard, let's say.
Okay, thank you very much. Going back.
Yes,
go ahead.
I don't really have a question, but I think the question she already asked shows that the certifications that are on the market are just so many, and it's just so confusing for those that are consuming the products that, I mean, if you don't, if you're not into the discussion about Cradle-to-Cradle or Fairtrade or GOTS or whatever label or certification is out there, you don't really, understand the differences between it. So it's not really friendly for those that are consuming it. So that's the question, if it's possible to, create an over certificate that is including the material health, the social standards, the producer side, the consumption side, or whatever side is, needs to be lighted on. So that's more what I would, prefer, because I'm not coming from any textile background, so that's just the point I see on certifications in general. So that's basically interesting how you see if, kind of, not compete the certifications between, but just my opinion, and it just would be interesting for me to know, or yeah, to ask how you see that. If you see it as a competition, or if you just say you work your way through your certification.
I saw a couple of people nod. I know it's a question, and we commonly call it label fatigue, because there is, whether it's textiles is a good example, but lots of other products. There's so many labels on everything now that I think you spoke out of the heart of everyone saying, yeah, what the heck, I just want a good product. So what do my panelists think about that? Rossitza, go ahead.
I have to bring a voice also from the producers. I have to tell you that suppliers are spending more than 100 man-days per year in certifications, and they pay more than 100,000 in certifications per factory or mill. I don't know about your situation, but they really say that every second day they have auditors. So this is the case, and this is also money they should pay to workers, actually. And we are also very happy to confirm this, but the same question I have the last 10 years, and it didn't change anything. Now with 2 standards, you have 100 more, and you have to speak to everyone, and they don't care. And perhaps also in our case, we care about our label, and we don't see them all doing the same. So it's a very difficult question, but absolutely we know that the consumers don't want to have 20 labels on one t-shirt.
Haixaing wanted to say something?
Susan?
I guess I would add that as part of the C2C standard, but to some extent with the existing version, but also our hopes for the next version is that we want to align with other existing standards where we can. So in other words, where you've done the hard work for your facilities, where you've done the hard work, for example, at your facilities, we want to be able to not have to repeat that work and give credit where the work is already being done. So especially when we put our new standard out for public comment, this is the kind of feedback that we would love to hear so that we can make it easier to get certified.
Haixaing, anything to add?
Yes, and thank you very much for your aspect. I fully agree with you. As normal consumer, sometimes I get lost as well. So the most, I think, successful certificates in the world is, one of it is Fairtrade and FSC. Maybe also you know FSC. And the rest, I think it's very local topics. So, so far, you know, Cradle-to-Cradle exists in the market as certificate, only, you know, nearly 7-8 years. So I think it's very good also for us to reflect how we are going to develop our brand. So far, we're working with many manufacturers together, you know, in the sustainability scheme. It's more business people. They do understand what's behind. So we have some difficulty to communicate the meaning, the effect of the certificate. But fortunately, we have CNA, we have Frosch, such companies on the market. They are they are great marketing people. They are much better than I. So anyway, I'm very optimistic that you know, in the future, Cradle-to-Cradle will be better accepted by the market.
If you all permit me a content comment as the advisory board member of the Cradle-to-Cradle Verein. There's one thing that, at least from the perspective of the Verein, we always like to point out, and that is that the Cradle-to-Cradle school of thought, of course, goes far beyond certification. So I don't want to piss off any of my panelists, but there's lots of ways to do good without certification. And we said it's all about storytelling, and if it's trustworthy storytelling, then you don't necessarily need a label. So there is a bit of a conflict of what it is that we're actually trying to achieve. But I'm moderating this panel, so I'm not permitted too much content. I just wanted to draw your attention to that from a Cradle-to-Cradle Verein's perspective of implementing the 3 principles that you all know, and drawing on, because the certification standard, the Cradle-to-Cradle certification standard, is drawn from the 3 principles. So you're all free to actually work with it and implement it, and then decide whether you actually need a label. So I'd be happy to hear some more questions. We've had lots of ladies. Maybe we'll take a gentleman now. Not that we follow the exact ratio, but then you're next afterwards. What's that? Oh, sorry, you were first. That was first too? Okay, so you, who was the one? We're collecting the questions now because otherwise I think we get too scattered. You've had a few. Okay, yes.
Hello, yes, it's working. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the presentation. My name is Maria Franco. I'm Peruvian. Actually, I'm part of the Circular Economy Platform of the Americas. That's why I am pretty much into the topic. But in general, in South America, this is not that well known, actually, the certification. There are some initiatives that are popping up because of the support of some international organizations. But I think that, you know, if we have this, I mean, in the southern countries, we have this certification or this initiative, you know, it will be really nice and also will support and will boost the business, the companies there in the southern countries. So my question is regarding how was the introduction of this Cradle-to-Cradle certification here in Europe? I mean, I don't know if you work much more with awareness, or I don't know, in order to be now what it is, you know, because you came inside, in this auditorium or in the university, and there are so great initiatives, and there are so many things that are cool, and I really would like, you know, to see that there in my country, or I don't know, in Latin America. So maybe if you can let me know a little bit more about this process that I think it could take a little bit more than 5 years, 10 years. Okay, thank you.
Susan, you want to take that first? It's again on Cradle-to-Cradle, but Rossitza, you're invited to comment on, add to.
So just to clarify, your question is how would an organization or a company in South America go through the certification process? Or
you can tell me how was the introduction here in Europe? I mean,
how was the introduction here in Europe?
The certification, how was it? You know, awareness in the population, companies. So.
Awareness in population, in companies, does it exist?
I'm just not sure what the question is, sorry. We have, actually most of the companies that are certified are based in Europe, with the other portion coming mainly from North America, with just a few from South America. But that is definitely a region that we'd want to expand into. We have 2 assessment bodies currently. They're based in Brazil. But
Haixaing, do you have anything to add?
Yes, yes. Thank you for the question. I think first what we did, with the C2C Verein is doing great jobs. They are not only working with the high schools, with the universities, but as well with companies together. They are very active. They are spreading the words, Cradle-to-Cradle, all around Germany and more in Europe. So, and secondly, maybe you remember my slide, my second slide, or first or second slides. EPEA built up a big network in the last 30 years. Look at our Dutch colleagues. They are doing fantastic work in the Netherlands. They reached the government, you know, the politicians, as well a lot of companies, and come to the speech and, you know, reaching out to them. So as well, and in Germany, our Michael Brongard and Katja Hansen, they are very active in talking with the politicians. Sometimes it works better if we, if we try to talk to the politicians first, because this is very important. This in all sustainability sectors, that the politicians give the framework and the companies will follow. And as well, what we did a lot of, did you ever see the videos on the YouTube? Yes? There are, you know, a long movie about Cradle-to-Cradle and short video about Cradle-to-Cradle and a German version, you know, yeah, and so these are basically what we did, and we're going to continue to do it.
Next question. I'll let you keep the order now so I don't miss anyone.
Hello, my name is Cornelius, and
hold the mic closer.
I want to ask a question which was almost, this question was almost there, and the answer also was next to it.
The mic is not on.
It's not on?
Yeah,
it's on, sorry. Yeah, I was just too far away. The question is it the goal of the certification institute from Cradle to Cradle to get really close to the Cradle to Cradle idea, and at the end including all other labels? I mean, this because design and thinking, die Denkschule and the design concept, more and more including all other labels. Or do I see it wrong? Or is it more or less a goal? Or, I mean, I know it's a long process, but it's a goal or not?
Is it a goal to be inclusive in the Cradle-to-Cradle certification as far as other labels is concerned? Susan, you're in charge of developing the standard, so
okay,
it's a call for you.
So I'm not really sure what that means. We recognize other standards at certain points within the requirements. Again, if there's already been work that's done in that space. I'm not really sure what the question is getting at further than that. And the categories are based on the design principles.
Yeah, for sure. I just was asking because right now Cradle to Cradle is not including Fairtrade at all. Only most part of Fairtrade, but not all parts of Fairtrade or GOTS, if we keep to the field textile. So right now it's just another certificate. It's not including them. And in my opinion, C2C could be the certificate, including all the others.
There's one, as Dagmar already mentioned, there's one requirement in the current version of the standard that recognizes a material that has been certified to a long list of different certifications. Fairtrade is one of them. GOTS is also one of them, I believe. I haven't looked at the list in a very long time. So that does count for credit in the current version of the standard.
But one question that follows from it, picking up some of the thoughts that I see evaporating from your heads, is there is a business model behind certification. So when you say can't Cradle to Cradle include all of it, then where are the others going to make money from? Or not? Isn't that an obvious question? Okay, so how would that work? Rossitza, yes. Please take the mic. I have to keep my mic.
Sorry, I have to answer all the questions today, but I'm very happy that we have a voice also here, and we have the possibility also to reconfirm to you that any possible overlapping, we can consider each other how to work together. It's also our issue then to get more standards and more standards. You are from the volunteers here, as far as I see on your T-shirt. So great work. I have the same questions from young people asking where the whole trade will become fair trade. So it is exactly challenging. You can imagine this is a billion business, million business, where everyone earns from certification at the moment. And this is not only what we are presenting here, but there are a lot of, let's say, real, also brands-owned auditors and their codes, and everyone wants to have a kind of share of these businesses. This is like, if you ask, can one government be for the whole world? So just think about it. We are like governments. We are sitting together, even within fair trade, like in the EU, and have so different opinions. Just give us some time to get to one common place.
Next question.
So so my question goes in the not in your direction, but now we will have a new certification in which will be launched next year for the textile industry, coming from the government, grüne Knopf, green button. So, and
Is this in Germany?
Yes, it's coming from the Nachhaltige Textilbündnis.
No, it's not the Textilbündnis. It is from BMZ directly. It's not
linked directly
to
from the BMZ, but
yes.
Only all the members from the Nachhaltigen Textilbündnis, they can only get a green button when they are in the Nachhaltige Textilbündnis, and they
not sure. We are members, but I'm not sure if there is a requirement.
Oh, because it's written in the
probably.
It's written right now in the press release, which is 3 days old. Good. And I just wanted to know, because they write that they want to work with all the different certifications now, and how is your idea to handle this? Because now we have a green button in the clothes, and then we have trade fair and maybe Cradle-to-Cradle. So that's really for the finally for the customers. This is really too much, I think.
Well, Rossitza, you already answered
because we
some
members of the partnership, I just can say, I don't know if you are going to these meetings and member, we can of course not publicly make any comment, but we are members in the this is a BMZ partnership. The Ministry of Development of Germany built up an initiative where German companies signed up to criteria, how to become more sustainable. So what is interesting is that the green button is by the government. It's like the EU label, or it is a governmental, let's say, framework. And if they can combine all the labels, they can do more than Fairtrade can do, for example, or more than we both can do. It will be great, but just wait till all the requirements and all the publishing, I'm even not able to follow, if everything is published. And then there are already some comments of like Clean Clothes Campaign or other organizations. Just check what the civil society also will respond to this. This is just, I see a big potential as far as the criteria are really, let's say, bringing good.
Is Cradle-to-Cradle part of that? Is the Cradle-to-Cradle certification part of it? Susan, Haixaing, do you know? Dagmar? I guess the short answer is no.
No, I don't. I'm not aware of any of
You know, yesterday there was a session held here, a workshop, Circular Textiles. It was initiated also by BMZ. I think the Cradle-to-Cradle Verein is now in the conversation with them. Sure, we want to join the program, right? Noah? Oh, sorry.
It gets more difficult every day, was Nora's brief answer to that.
Yeah, I would say it's more difficult than just saying to join something, but
absolutely.
The ministry is quite interested about Cradle-to-Cradle right now, and they want to prepare for the future, I think.
Okay. Okay, does that answer your question? Because we're running out of time already, and there's one more or two more. Okay, we make them quick. So you have the sequence.
Thank you. My name is Lindsay. I'm from New Zealand, so I'm afraid I probably have the biggest carbon footprint of anybody here.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Thank you for your contribution. My field is climate change strategy, and I hope you'll help me offset my footprint by one very quick question and a general one. The very quick one is that the emissions associated with cloud storage are now exceeding those from airlines and one of the fastest growing in the world. And therefore, I'm interested to know whether methods of cloud storage feature in your assessment process of companies. That's the quick question. The general one is New Zealand is characterized by a lot of small businesses. What I'm hearing today is the big businesses can get on the ladder of the cradle-to-cradle. The small ones can only just do the right thing. And I'm asking whether there isn't space for some sort of intermediate way, because I can see businesses all around New Zealand thinking, that's a good idea, but we just can't afford to even take the first or the second step. We can have the intention, but nothing beyond that.
Thank you very much. Very good questions, quick answers, so we can get the last question in as well. Directed to Cradle-to-Cradle, so it's between Susan and Haixaing.
Your first question regarding cloud storage, the answer is that it's not addressed specifically. The second question, I agree that unfortunately it probably at this time it's far more challenging for smaller companies to get certified because of the cost of the assessment, but it does depend on the product. Yeah. So.
Actually, in Europe, there are many middle-sized companies. We were facing these similar questions already. So we have solutions for you, because EPEA is not only providing certification, we also providing material health assessment, statement, and like studies to address your product, and also like how to say it. Machbarkeitsstudie?
What's that?
Machbarkeitsstudie.
Feasibility study.
Oh, thank you. It's
No
not
problem.
my mother tongue sometimes. Yeah, we also provide feasibility study for, especially for small size and middle sized companies. So, and we help you to get step by step towards cradle-to-cradle.
Okay, I think we have time for one final question. Okay, yes, please go ahead.
I don't know which one. Actually, I have two, but okay, the second one. When we talk about fast fashion, then we have a lot of different fabrics with a lot of and garments with a lot of components, additionals, and so on. So on one hand, I think cradle-to-cradle would be the perfect solution for fast fashion industry. But on the other hand, when you say it takes 1 year to certify a garment, it's like how you say Widerspruch. It's
contradiction.
Yeah. I cannot right now. I cannot imagine how it can work for a fast fashion company to adapt this system.
Okay,
So,
Haixaing, quick answer, and I, of course, have an answer to that as well.
My quick answer is that that's why it would be very important to get the building block materials certified. So if those are already certified, those can then be used in a finished product.
Okay.
And maybe keep pace with the development of the new apparel.
all right. So that's like a library where you take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a
A
library.
toolbox.
Materials.
Or,
the intention is to have a library of C2C certified materials to choose from.
Okay, Haixaing.
And just a little bit, in the beginning it looks very difficult, complex to start, but from 0 to 50 or 70% is hard. You have to collect a lot of information, but once you get one product certified, and all the others will get much, much easier, because they all use similar materials and similar dyes, similar auxiliaries. So then it's become much easier. But you have to take the first step. That's where we can help you.
I think that was a really good answer from the certification perspective. Again, in my role as advisory board of the Cradle-to-Cradle Verein, I would challenge you to ask the question in a different way. Should fast fashion be Cradle-to-Cradle certified? How do we define fast fashion, and does it really fit into the model of circular value creation, which is what we're trying to achieve with Cradle-to-Cradle? So just, again, stepping away a little bit from certification, what is it that we're trying to achieve? I think a toolbox is a very good idea because it allows us to choose components and it transcends to other industries, such as healthy printing as well. For sure, we call it positivized, predefined materials. But in all of that, you have to see the forest for the trees. So ask the right question of, is that really where we want to go? Before you try to solve it technically. So that's sort of the message that I want to close with. I thank the 3 panelists for the challenging questions and the good answers to them. I thank you for participating. I'm sorry we couldn't cover all questions, but I hope it was a good insight and a good start. And maybe to add, there's a lot of information, for example, on the Cradle-to-Cradle certification standard. It's all published, and I think the similar applies to Fairtrade. So you can actually look into the detailed requirements there as well. Thank you very much.